It's the Spread Zone, and we are live to tape on a Wednesday, July 1st, 2026, noon Central. My name is Riz. With me is Anthony Stalter. Where's Tim?
Well, we locked him out.
What do you say? He's on assignment.
Yeah, there you go. That's what they say in the biz, right?
He's on assignment.
He's on assignment somewhere. Now, we don't know where, but I think he's got something for the kids.
There's no golf to talk about this week, so he decided not to show.
Yeah, there you go.
But we do have some stuff to talk about. I mean, some good stuff. And the mission here is simple: make you money. So we're going to talk World Cup. We're going to talk NFL futures, maybe some college futures, and the most important thing this weekend: the Nathan's Famous Hot Dog Eating Contest.
Which you've been training for, Riz.
Yes.
You've decided I'm going to give it a go.
Another year for Joey Chestnut, probably. But there's a way to spin this to make some money, betting on how many hot dogs somebody eats. But of course, we're presented by FanDuel. Lines are FanDuel, odds subject to change. Of course, if you got a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. So, all right, picture it, Anthony. Knockout soccer in the U.S. It's not group stage. We'll figure that out later. This is survive and advance. You've got stadiums humming all day, flags everywhere, drums in the concourse, fans posting lineups like it's a stock market. And tonight, the headliner in San Francisco, USA versus Bosnia under the lights. One bad bounce, and you are out of the World Cup.
Which we've already seen.
Now, quick reminder for betting here. Most wagers are 90 minutes only. Like regulation, extra time and penalties don't count unless the bet explicitly says to advance / to qualify. That's how people light money on fire in the knockout. So let's start. We're not going to start with USA yet. We'll start with, if you're listening to this podcast early enough, maybe you'll get this. Belgium versus Senegal, which is 3 p.m. Central Time. This is the kind of matchup that gets fun. Athletes everywhere, but also defensive moments that turn into chaos fast. So Belgium versus Senegal, I don't know much about these two teams. Anthony, any insight?
Well, this is actually one of my favorite upset opportunities, Riz.
Yeah.
So Belgium's attack can absolutely explode. But I think they've looked a little vulnerable against quality opponents. Senegal has been one of Africa's best teams throughout the tournament, despite finishing third in their group. If Mendy's healthy enough, this becomes very close. But I'm going to take Senegal. And right now, our partners at FanDuel have them plus 148. So that's plus 148 to advance. You mentioned that before. I think they press. I think they're athletic. And I don't think Belgium has looked all that convincing.
Here's how I would touch this game. Over 2.5 goals at minus.
You, by the way, can I pause here?
Another one.
You nailed the over in the
over 2.5
in the USA Turkey IA game. And that was easy, too.
Yeah.
I mean, those goals were scored pretty quickly.
That was sweat-free.
Well done, my friend.
So I'm going over 2.5 goals for the Belgium versus Senegal game. If you want a player prop to pair it with, check out Ismaila Sarr, an anytime goal at plus 330. It's a spicy look, volume shooter, real pace, and Senegal isn't here to park the bus for 90 minutes. So Ismaila Sarr, anytime goal at plus 330. All right, let's talk about tonight's big matchup. It's USA versus Bosnia and Herzegovina, 7 o'clock Central Time in San Francisco. Think cold, Bay Area, night air, a loud American crowd that's been tailgating since lunch. Bosnia is, going to be organized. They're going to be physical, and they're going to treat every set piece like it's a corner kick in the 90th minute. So USA is the favorite here at minus 270. That's the 90-minute money line. A draw is plus 390. Bosnia, if you want to pick them, it's plus 750. How are you looking at this?
So I think this line is about right, Riz. Bosnia deserves respect. They've been incredibly resilient. They survived the qualifying through penalties. They're built to frustrate opponents. You mentioned the physicality. But boy, with the way that the Americans have played, I mean, they've been aggressive, they've been direct, they've been fearless all tournament. I'll throw out the last group match there against, Turkey IA. But I think that if you're going to play this, I'm not going to lay minus 600. There's no value there. Is there value in the total? I think this could go over again. I could see this being a 2-1 USA win, perhaps a 3-1.
It makes me uncomfortable picking a total score.
Even in this, even after you cashed last week?
Even though I crushed the last 2 weeks in a row with my totals.
You're not feeling it.
No, I will go Kristen Pulisic anytime goal scored plus 110.
He looked real good last week.
If the U.S. breaks the game open, Pulisic is right in the middle of the creativity, and he's the guy that I want finishing. So I'll take him as an anytime goal scorer plus 110. Now, there's also an interesting bet you can make, too. Both teams to score, yes or no?
I would say yes. If I'm going to say the over, I'm going to say yes on that. Despite, again, I'll throw out the last group match for USA. I do think Bosnia scores at least one goal.
So the idea is here, the U.S. can win the match and still concede one goal, especially if Bosnia can manufacture something on a restart. So yes is minus 116.
Oh, I think that's still anything minus 150 and lower.
Yeah.
Or obviously you get into plus odds. I'm good with that. Minus 116 is good. I think that's a great value
for
play.
Both teams to score.
Yep.
Yes, minus 116. No is at minus 110.
I don't see any value in that. I think this is 1-1 at some point.
I do too.
So I'm with you.
That's how I'm playing. That's
like
how I'm playing tonight's USA, Bosnia and Herzegovina. Here in St. Louis, where we're recording this, it's an interesting.
Yeah, there's
an interesting situation.
There's a large Bosnian contingent here.
There's more Bosnians here than anywhere else outside of Bosnia.
No kidding.
I did not know that. Fact. And Bosnia had a friendly here at the soccer stadium, and it was packed. And they're a good team, so look for it to be a challenge, I think, for USA tonight.
Good match.
All right, let's go to tomorrow, Spain versus Austria. Again, we're in the round of 32. My lean is the over 2.5 at minus 120.
I got no play on this. I think Spain advances. I think Austria deserves credit just for getting here, but Spain is quietly outstanding, and they've got their main guy back. Yamal, he returned to the starting lineup. They've controlled possession. They've limited chances. I think they look increasingly comfortable.
Portugal versus Croatia. My lean on this is now you could bet something called the double chance, which is I'm going to take a Croatia double chance, which is a Croatia win or draw in 90. That's minus 105.
I like that a lot.
This is a Croatia refuses to die bet.
Sign me up for that too. I think that this is the sneaky game of the week / sneaky game of the round of 32 knockout stage. Portugal has better talent. Croatia has more tournament DNA than almost anyone, though, and they switched to a 4-2-3-1, stabilized them defensively, made them much more dangerous going forward. One mistake from Portugal, and I think this could be, at the very least, we're at a draw after the 90. So I'll hop on your ticket as well.
Double chance, the Croatia double chance. I like it. 105. Switzerland versus Algeria. I got nothing on this. Switzerland to win is at minus 205. I think the last time I saw that. Mm-hmm. It's not sexy.
Swiss have been excellent lately. Algeria's playing with confidence, though. I think Swiss move on. If you're gun to my head playing, I got to play something. I got the Swiss to advance.
I don't like the minus 205.
Yeah, I don't think there's a lot of value there either.
All right, Friday, we got Australia and Egypt. My sprinkle here is over 2.5 at plus 180.
So our first disagreement on today's podcast.
Oh, you think it's going to be under?
I think this is an under match. I love this matchup. Australia defends, Egypt defends. Nobody wants to blink. I think that this screams 1-0 either way. I got the under.
So you got the under on this one?
Yes, sir.
That's because this is the one goal changes everything play. Higher variance, but I'm paying for it. Mm-hmm. Plus 180. Argentina versus Capo Verde.
I think that Verde has been kind of the Cinderella thus far. But
they are the Cinderella story.
But Lionel Messi, he's brilliant, and Argentina's balanced, disciplined, they're professional. I think Argentina wins comfortably.
I do too. I'm taking the over 2.5 on this at minus 152.
Do we have the goal line? They're probably minus a half. I can look this up real quick.
If you got our partner handle their website up.
I do have them up. Let me see here. Because I could see Argentina winning comfortably.
Yeah, I do too. This is, Argentina's firepower versus the Cinderella story. Mm-hmm. And what a story it's been. It's pretty awesome to see all that.
Method. We got all kinds of stuff here at FanDuel. Method of victory. Either team in extra time. That's you know what's interesting as I look at this. Not for this matchup, but either team wins in extra time plus 1,000. We've already seen that a handful of time in these matchups. We can move on. I think that Argentina, like I said, I think Argentina wins comfortably. I'm trying to look at it to see if there's a goal a goal line here.
I mean, are you looking at maybe a Messi first goal is plus 195?
That's not bad.
An anytime goal is minus 185. 2 goals is plus 250.
Okay.
Messi 2+ goals is 250. 3+ is plus 1,000.
It's a little rich for me, but I can see it.
You think 2 goals plus 250? You don't like that? You don't like that play? How about first?
You know what?
goal?
Throw us in there.
I'm doing it.
Let's do it. Lionel Messi, 2+ goals.
I'm going
plus
for
250.
Done.
Let's do it.
Locked it in.
All right.
And then we got Colombia versus Ghana. It's the final game on Friday. My lean is under 2.5 at minus 162. Feels like a grind to me. I may not even play that. I may not even touch this game.
I could see Colombia winning 2-0. They're athletic. They defend well. Ghana, I think, has overachieved at this point. Colombia at minus 550. There's not a lot of value there, but I do like them.
Right. All right, so that's it for the World Cup. Of course, today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Whether you're playing anytime goal scores, match totals, or you're building a same-game parlay for the U.S. men's national team tonight, FanDuel makes it simple, fast, and easy to track live. Of course, odds move, lines change, so make sure you check and bet responsibly. All right, we'll take a break. We'll come back. We will talk NFL and possibly some college football futures next on the Spread Zone. All right, we are back on the Spread Zone futures time. This is a party where you could almost smell the fresh paint on the training camp fields. Beat writers are tweeting, best shape of his life. Sports books are posting boards that could tie your money up. But if you hit one, it feels like you stole something. So how do you want to start this, Anthony?
Let's go to some regular season win totals. Sure. Let's focus there. I'm going to throw out a couple plays. You react. You can put it in your back pocket. You can send it home back, whatever you want. Now I mentioned this last week, but I still really like it. I think the market seems to be not down's the wrong word for it, but maybe sleeping a little bit on the Ravens. Ravens over 10.5 wins. It's at minus 150, so we're kind of right at that threshold, Riz. Mm-hmm. But John Harbaugh is no longer there. I kind of like the new coach bump. Have you heard the new coach bump? It's a little bit, players have a little bit more juice to them. There's another team that I really like that's getting a new coach as well. Jesse Minter is one of the brightest young defensive minds in the league. So I think that defense, which has been injury plagued over the last couple of years, comes together nicely. And of course, you got Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry. On the other side, Zay Flowers. They added some more weapons. So I like the Ravens over 10.5 wins on that one.
All right, that looks good.
The Denver Broncos. There's always a team, and you know what? I missed it last year. So remember when the Rams, Matthew Stafford last year, he had the back injury. There was kind of a shroud of mystery to him. And I thought to myself, I'm not going to touch the Rams at all.
You feel the same with Bo Nix?
Well, I'm going to go the opposite way this time. We learned last year that Stafford wanted to play in the entire year despite the back injury. They made it all the way to the NFC Championship game, and their win total was pretty low, comparatively speaking. The Broncos over 9.5 wins, minus 110. Bo Nix has got the injury problems, but the more I look at it, I like Denver top to bottom. I like the roster, more than enough weapons. Their defense is going to be outstanding again.
What's their schedule look like?
They got a first-place schedule, and they got to face Kansas City twice. They got to face LA twice. They got to face an improved Raiders team twice. So it's a little daunting. If you want to drop down over 8.5 wins, it's minus 195. But I do think there's a lot of value in that over 9.5 wins.
At minus 110?
At minus 110 for the Broncos. Sticking in the same division, I mentioned this with the new coach bump, right? Give me the Raiders over 5.5 wins at minus 130. They're bringing in Kubiak, bright offensive minds, whether it's Kirk Cousins or Fernando Mendoza, the number 1 overall picker is. I think that offense is going to look 10 times better.
5+ wins.
Give me 6. Tougher division. Yeah. I just mentioned it, but they're going to play a last place schedule. So if they can pull off an upset or two within the division, play the rest of their schedule well, again, last place schedule, 5.5 wins doesn't seem that bad.
It's fun locking these in now when it's July 1st.
Totally. You don't have training camps yet. A lot of the times, too, you want to think about what training camps are going to bring. You're going to see a lot of headlines where teams are going to be either overhyped or underhyped. So now is the time to lock in some of these plays. Mm-hmm. Let me give you an under since I gave you a bunch of overs. Commanders under 7.5 wins, plus 105. I think Dan Quinn gets fired at the end of the year. I do not like what they've done the last 2 off seasons. They drafted Jaden Daniels. He had his amazing rookie season.
Yeah.
And the Commanders seemingly kicked up their feet, and they're like, we're good. We're good. We got this kid now. If he gets hurt again, that's going to be a lock at plus 105.
So under 7 wins at what's the number?
Under 7.5. So even at 7, they win 7. We're good. It's plus 105.
Plus 105.
Yes, sir.
What do you think of the NFC East?
I think it's
strong division, weak division.
I think it's still the Eagles to win, just because the roster is loaded from top to bottom. Dallas is going to be interesting. I think Dallas wins anywhere between 9 to 11 games this season, provided that Dak Prescott stays healthy. I hate the Commanders, and I think the Giants are still a year away, even with John Harbaugh. Yeah. Now, you're a Giants guy.
I'm a Giants guy.
So do you feel as though that Harbaugh can right the ship?
It's a young team. I mean, you got a young quarterback and you had a young team.
Yep. And Jackson Dart's running around there like a chicken with his head cut off.
And you got a old school coach who could mold these guys. I know it's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
Again, I wouldn't touch anything Giants this year.
Sure.
Because there's so much uncertainty.
Yeah,
I do like that Commanders play at under 7.5 wins.
I was completely against them a year ago, Riz, and I wound up being right. A broken clock is right twice a day. But I do think that team, roster-wise, is so old, and they haven't given that new influx of young talent yet. I'll give you one more in the NFL.
Yeah.
And I think I gave this out last week, so I apologize for a repeat, but the line is just too good. Over 9.5 wins at minus 120. The Houston Texans. I don't see a scenario in which the Texans don't win 10 games.
I think last week we broke down the schedule. CJ Stroud, if he's healthy.
He wants a new contract.
Yeah.
Everybody remembers.
So it's a contract year for him.
It's a contract year for him. Everybody remembers that disastrous performance last year in the playoffs. Yeah. He stunk in Pittsburgh. They wound up winning. They go to New England, and he was gifting the Patriots turnovers, and the Texans were still in that game deep in the third quarter. That defense is absolutely disgusting. I like David Montgomery. They give him some stability from a running back standpoint. I think the Texans over 9.5 wins at minus 120 is solid.
All right, do you want to touch on this college football future thing for just a second here?
Yeah.
I do have the FanDuel title odds, the college football playoff and championship title odds. Ohio State at plus 550 to win it all next season.
Clear favorite.
Notre Dame next at plus 650. Texas, Indiana, Oregon, Georgia, Miami, LSU, Texas Tech, Alabama, Ole Miss. I think for me, I know Ohio State at plus 550. It's you set it and forget it.
Yeah.
Throw some money down now. You set it, you forget it at plus 550.
I mean, they're clearly, they should be the favorite. They've got more talent than anybody in the nation. Now I do have questions of them bringing in Arthur Smith, who was the offensive coordinator in Tennessee, the head coach for the Falcons, and then wound up last year in Pittsburgh. His systems tend to be very, very conservative. So I can see maybe some frustration building there offensively, but again, the talent's going to overcome.
The defending champs, Indiana, at plus 850.
That's what I like. Pick. Let me tell you why I like that.
It's plus 850 is a very playable number, and the defending champ tax usually makes teams expensive, but plus 850 looks good.
Riz, I like that a lot. Now, they have to replace all of the talent, of course, that just went to the NFL, namely Fernando Mendoza. But they got the transfer, Josh Hoover, who's coming in. He's another veteran. But here's why I like Indiana. Curt Cignetti is the ultimate system guy. He knows what he wants from his players. He knows how to pick those players and plop them right in their system. He's not a head coach that is going to say, all right, what is my talent? Let me adjust. I'll go out and I'll find the guys that fit my exact system.
Right.
So even though he's lost, my point being, even though he's lost all these guys, I think he replaces them in a heartbeat. And I'm probably being a little dismissive to guys like Mendoza and Elijah Surratt and Omar Cooper. But my point being, I think that's how much I believe in Curt Cignetti. At plus 800 or plus 850, I think Indiana brings tremendous value.
What about taking a longer look at Miami at plus 1,200?
Yeah, another team. Of course, that has to replace a lot of its talent, especially on the defensive line. I'm always a sucker for Texas A&M if you're looking for a little bit of a long shot at plus 2,000. Or I'll give you another one. What about LSU at plus 2,000?
Yeah,
Lane Kiffin. Say what you want about Lane Kiffin.
The guy can coach.
He has won, varying degrees of win, of course. It's not always win a national championship, but he has had success basically anywhere he has gone. Yeah. Now, he's pissed everybody off, Riz, walking out the door, but now he's got all that talent at LSU. The guy's going to put together a great offense. At plus 2,000, I'm kind of intrigued.
All right. We'll take a quick timeout. FanDuel Sportsbook sponsors the Spread Zone, and we'll come back and we will talk hot dogs, the Nathan's famous hot dog eating contest, and maybe we can make you some money there. Stay tuned. All right, welcome back to the Spread Zone presented by FanDuel. Let's get to the most beautiful chaos in sports betting. And yes, you can go to FanDuel, and there are bets you could make. There are wagers you can make on the Nathan's famous hot dog eating contest. It's Coney Island in the corner of Surf and Stillwell. Sun bouncing off the boardwalk. A crowd that's half patriotic, half unhinged. And all they want is to watch human beings do something no doctor would ever recommend. It's happening on Saturday. The men's contest starts at 11:30 a.m. Central Time. So,
will you be watching?
Of course, I watch every year.
Do you?
100%.
Do you ever get to the point where you're like, I can do this? Because that of course, the hot dog eating contest is one of those things where the everyman looks at it and says, I can do that.
Yeah, but when you watch somebody like Joey Chestnut put away as many dogs as he does, he's a superhero.
He's training constantly.
He is Michael Jordan. He is Wayne Gretzky.
Sure.
He is
Babe Ruth and Shohei Ohtani combined.
Yes. Yeah. He is
Serena Williams.
The best of all time. Nobody will be better than Joey Chestnut. So Joey Chestnut to win is minus 2,500. Yeah. So let's not.
Should be higher.
Let's not. The next names are way, way behind. So here's how I'm going to bet the Nathan's hot dog eating contest. Joey Chestnut over 71.3 hot dogs.
71 hot dogs.
At minus 115. This is the cleanest way to bet the event without laying minus 2,500.
Yeah.
So Joey Chestnut over 71.3 hot dogs.
Do we have what he did? I'm looking. You know what? Go ahead. Continue. I want to listen.
The record is 76. Will Joey Chestnut beat his own record of 76 hot dogs? Yes, at plus 350. Sign me up for that one.
So you think he gets at least 77 dogs down his gullet?
That's a fun one. It's not a mortgage bet. It's a small like pizza big sweat bet. Mm-hmm. You could also bet, and here's also what I'm going to take: the winning margin. If Joey is Joey, the field is usually eating for second. At plus 150, the margin of winning is 19.6 hot dogs and over. Oof. So by almost 20 hot dogs, he will be over the second place finisher.
Wow. This is amazing too. I'm looking at Joey Chestnut's records. It's not just hot dogs, Riz.
Oh.
He's got records: apple pie, asparagus, bologna,
calf brains.
I don't know, brain tacos.
Yeah, calf brain tacos.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Canteen sandwiches, funnel cake. I mean, my man's got records for basically anything that is declared food.
You know, you have young kids, and you're going to one day tell them that you watched Joey Chestnut on TV.
I lived in the era of Michael Jordan and Joey Chestnut.
Eat 76 hot dogs in 10 minutes.
Yeah. They're not going to believe it.
No.
I'm going to say, Google it, kids. And at that point, it'll be something else. I'll be like, spaghetti it, kids.
Yes.
And it'll mean
something to them. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so Joey Chestnut to win at minus 2,500, that's not a way to make money. There's ways to make money. Over 71.3 hot dogs at minus 115. The winning margin of 19.6 plus hot dogs at plus 150. Will Chestnut's record of 76 be broken? Yes, at plus 350.
I'm just telling you.
That's how you make money.
I like it.
Watching dudes eat hot dogs. All I'm thinking is when they start burping after, what's that going to be like?
I don't know. I mean, you have to almost, you said superhuman, right? You have to almost be subhuman to do what he does.
Yeah.
Like his setup internally is different than ours. It has to be.
ESPN did a whole thing about competitive eating and what happens to your stomach if you put that much food in it.
Yeah.
Your organs literally move around because your stomach swells up so big. Like your liver will move to the other side of your body to accommodate.
The human body's insane.
It's insane.
So they just liver starts shifting around.
Everything starts shifting around to make room for all that food. It's amazing. I will be watching.
Do you think he can even eat normally right now? Like his family, hey, we're going to go to a nice restaurant. Do you think he sits down and enjoys a nice piece of steak? Or do you think he's constantly slamming food down?
Like, hey, Joey, slow down, man.
Yeah.
Taste your food. Enjoy it. I don't know.
I say no. I say he goes out with Mrs. Chestnut and they just, he's done in 10 minutes.
I saw one of those competitive eaters once eat his way out of a phone booth full of popcorn.
Really?
Yeah.
He can do
Amazing. All right. I think that's it for us. Mm-hmm. I think that's it for the spread zone.
Well, when you cover the Nathan's hot dog eating contest, there's really no other
place to go.
You've got FIFA World Cup action and Nathan's hot dog eating contest all in one.
And some NFL.
And a little NFL
spring stuff in there. Yeah. All right. Have a great 4th of July. We will see you next week. It's Riz. It's Anthony Stalter with the spread zone presented by FanDuel.
We provide information about sports betting for entertainment purposes only. Please confirm gambling regulations in your state of residence. To participate in sports gaming, you must be 21 years of age or older and be physically present in a state where sports betting is legal. If you or someone you know has a sports betting or gambling problem, please call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org for more information and further assistance.